Top 10 Truly Extreme Noses. You will never guess what the number 1 nose is. Like and subscribe for weekly videos. In the comments below, list one topic you think should be in a top 10 video and comment if you subscribe to this channel. Bunches of real highlights get consideration. There are melodies celebrating eyes, lips, butts, legs, bosoms, hair, yet never a nose. It's about time somebody give noses their due credit, wouldn't you say? In this way, right away, here are some truly extraordinary schnozzes. This rundown is graciousness of Sasha Rosser. 10 Goblin Shark. At the point when schnoz meets Jaws. It's stunning. This shark figures out how to eat with that tremendous nose standing out of his face. You could most likely set down planes on that thing. Also, who recognizes what it's beneficial for? It's most likely the result of ludicrous transformative female decision choice. Or then again, perhaps the Cloverfield beast utilizes troll sharks as darts, and just permits those with the greatest noses to endure. Regardless, its platform surpasses whatever other sharks in relative size, which is pretty darn outrageous. 9 Feiji Enjun. Meet Feiji Enjun. At some point, he found a terrible red knock on the tip of his nose, yet didn't look for clinical consideration because of neediness. Throughout the following year, his honker expanded to the size presented above, so huge that his eyes were in a real sense pushed to sides of his face, procuring him infected oddity status in his town. In that capacity, Faye seldom went out, as he was believed to be a vector for ailment. For sure, it shouldn't come as much amazement that, when your nose swells to the size of an apple, extensive agony results. In the end, a nearby emergency clinic offered him free medical procedure, and a CT filter uncovered that the reason for his inconveniences was a rhinocarcinoma, which they shrank through radiation. In general, the entire circumstance is undilutedly dreadful, yet he received free medical services in return. Also, any nose that gets you free medical care is an outrageous nose. 8 Monoclonius. The rhinoceros has a pretty outrageous nose. Its name signifies nose horn, all things considered. In any case, why remember a senseless rhinoceros for this rundown when a lot bigger, significantly more extraordinary variant of such a nose once sniffed the earth? Of all the unicorn-like ceratopsids, the Monoclonius has, by a wide margin, the biggest nose horn. At 2.7 meters in stature, this sturdy monster could catch a white rhino on its horn and throw it like an extravagant toy. You could likewise fold lights over it and imagine it was a little Christmas tree. You realize the special seasons get extraordinary when you utilize a dinosaur nose to enhance ornamental conventions. 7 Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody's nose is the Mount Everest of Hollywood schnozzes. It's smaller people, other entertainers' noses, and chuckles twistedly, shrieking overbearing nose affronts as snot rockets. It towers menacingly, Barad-Dur-like, snarling criticism in the language of Mordor. It wheezes, and structural plates move. As on. Brody's nose is additionally likely mostly liable for landing him his function as Jewish Polish piano player Wadis or Peelman, in The Pianist. His marvelous depiction of said job at that point landed him an Oscar. Also the chance, which was taken, to violate Halle Berry with a kiss. Getting an Oscar and making out with Halle Berry? That is an extraordinary nose. 6 Hammer-headed bat. Bats will in general look genuinely comical. Some have huge ears, and some have colossal noses. Truth be told, the appropriately named hammer-headed bat's nose surpasses the volume of its cerebrum by a factor of at any rate 2. It likewise contributes intensely to the species' sexual dimorphism, with just guys having the augmented platforms. These noses, notwithstanding stretched mouth pits and larynxes, empower male sledge made a beeline for transmit noisy honks. It likely shocks no one that the type of these sounds impacts how explicitly appealing the guys are to co-ed. This wonder can be found in max speed when guys assemble, frequently around riverbanks, to vie for mates in a conduct known as lek mating. Successfully, a gaggle of guys lounge around attempting to outplay one another while the females fly around tuning in for the best sounds, much like a bar scene where scads of guys evaluate their pickup lines. Since nose size adds to the nature of the blares, females select for the best, and presumably generally articulated, noses. At the point when a nose decides if one gets laid or not, one must submit to the limit of said nose. Also, these colleagues can supposedly be utilized as sledges. Furthermore, hammers are valuable. 5. Cyrano de Bergerac. Like many great men, the fictional Cyrano de Bergerac falls in love with his cousin, Roxane. And, also like many great men, Cyrano is profoundly ugly, due in large part to his large nose, which causes him great distress. People, cruel as they must be to make Cyrano pitiable, say that his nose is large enough to be used as an umbrella. In the eponymous play, Cyrano demonstrates mastery of dueling, music, wit and so on. He also writes beautiful love sonnets and the like, but is too shy to approach his buxom cousin with them. Meanwhile, she falls in love with the handsome, but stupid, bloke who hasn't the parlance to charm her. This mentally impaired Adonis asks Cyrano to furnish him with the verbiage to fully woo Roxane, which Cyrano agrees to do. Roxane eventually falls in love with these words, and when she finally discovers that it is Cyrano who was behind them, she falls for him, nose and all. Of course, to be properly depressing/moving, she admits her love to Cyrano as he is dying. If we are to subscribe to the 16 Candles why notion that ugly people persevere as sharp-witted, successful and talented, all of Cyrano's skills owe themselves to his nose. Plus, it can apparently be used to shield people from rain. Totally extreme. 4. Proboscis monkey. This present monkey's nose is outrageous to the point that individuals simply call the creature it's connected to the proboscis monkey. It's the nose monkey. You see that person over yonder, with the nose? Better believe it, that is the proboscis sky. As with hammer-headed bats, nose size in proboscis monkeys underscores a sexual dimorphism in the species. While female proboscis monkeys have genuinely unmistakable noses, they don't exactly have the Kilroy was here factor that the guys do. Furthermore, indeed similarly as with hammer-headed bats, we can be certain nose size plays into how hot male proboscis monkeys are to the ladies. It would be reasonable to state that proboscis monkeys can have erections for noses. Similar to the case with most cardiovascular creatures, proboscis monkeys experience expanded pulse when they're energized. As the fervor rises, so does the degree of blood immersion in their nasal tissue. With noses engorged in this way, a reverberating chamber is made that can enhance the sound of calls, particularly notice signals. This is very helpful. In the event that one proboscis monkey identifies risk, he will get dreadful and hence energized, consequently improving him at conveying peril to his countrymen. Super alarm nose that makes you look like Squidward? Outrageous. 3. Pinocchio. This child can't lie without his nose ejecting outward like the Ruyi Jingu Bang when Sun Wukong needs to take treats from the best in class. Consider the suggestions. To weaponize that honker, Pinocchio should simply remain before somebody, point his nose at their eye, and state, "I'm a genuine kid. I'm a genuine kid." Too awful he surrendered his superpower. It was pretty extraordinary. 2. Star-nosed mole. Most creatures decipher the geography of their surroundings with favor to a specific sense. People favor sight. Dolphins favor sound. Moles favor contact. Also, the star-nosed mole has the most profoundly evolved touch organs known. Directly in its nose. It would be putting it mildly to state that the star-nosed mole has 2 hands developing out its face. It wouldn't get the job done to say it has 4. Also, that a light thump to your hands doesn't murder you. Obviously, star-nosed moles have powerful delicate sniffers. This super affectability results from groups of mechanoreceptors that undertaking up through sections of epidermal cells from the dermis up to the skin's surface. These structures are made of recognizable things: skin cells, sensitive spots, etc. However, their game plan is so particular as to procure them the title of organs, IMA's organs, explicitly. Also, a star-nosed mole's nose has around 25,000 of them, and it's just 1 centimeter wide. Your nose scarcely even contains that numerous material nerve endings. An article in Nature named the star-nosed mole that quickest eating creature, segues to a quickest eater's version of the most extreme, yet that is for some other time. The hefty myelination of Imer's organ neurons improves signal transmission from the receptors to the mole's cerebrum, where investigation of the edibility of an item can take as meager as 120 milliseconds, which verges on the constraints of neuronal transmission speed. This present creature's nose causes it to assess food in 120 milliseconds. Extreme. As if that wasn't sufficient, the star-nosed mole can smell submerged by breathing out nose bubbles onto something it needs to smell and afterward breathing in them. How outrageous is that? Elephants are kind of remarkable. They're the biggest living area creatures, they grieve their dead, have transport lines for teeth, and obliterate human advancements when they're explicitly disappointed. Goodness, and they paint, too. They additionally have trunks, which are, obviously, simply wonderful noses. Elephant trunks are, from numerous points of view, the counterparts of human hands. Elephants use them to welcome each other, grasp and play. They go through them to pick things and put food and water in their mouths. They can wash themselves by sucking up water into the body of the storage compartment and afterwards splashing it on themselves. They can swim. They can get minuscule seeds without squashing them, plant them, trust that a tree will develop, and afterward remove it. What's more, normally, they can utilize their trunks to scrounge for or store products in the butts of different elephants. The storage compartment is a nose that realizes no bounds. And obviously, elephants have fantastic olfactory faculties, which are increased by their capacity to coordinate their trunks towards or away from the wellsprings of smells. Outrageous? Indeed.